delivery guys. So it's a whole group of people. And suddenly you see there is a huge void. In spite of the fact that I was a faculty associate, there was a huge void in my life. Suddenly you feel that emptiness. Okay. And, I never thought that I will be in academia on a full-time basis. So that emptiness was there. And the fact that the day I exited, I also cried a lot. Okay, I can share that because some of you may be as young now, maybe 29, 30 odd. So because there's a very emotional feeling to detach and to give up something which you are very closely attached to. Because when you start a business, and it was a single-handed business, while in my college I was starting from those days there was an SSI registration, that is a small scale industry registration, for which you go to the district industry center, getting a provisional registration as a SSI, starting to getting your project report done, getting it vetted by the, I think in Bengal they call it the Small Industries Development Agency, getting a term loan from the financial corporation, a cash credit from a commercial bank. All that you do single-handedly. Then buying each of the machineries, putting up a team, okay, with no background at all. As a college student, I was doing that. Okay. Then you advertise, and I advertise myself. So it was like you create your own advertisement for franchise shops. And I started with, some of you will not believe it, but with 8 franchise shops post my first advertisement way back in 1994. So I was around 24, 25 years of age when these things were happening. And pretty, what I call, I would say, and uh, I mean, pretty much exciting, so to say. There is a leading daily in Bengal, which is called Anandabazar Patrika. They carried an article on me saying that in order to be successful, you have to be a little bit daring. Some of you who understands Bengali, the title I still remember was Safolyer jonne dussahasi hote hai. Okay, so that was the article. And yes, it was a fantastic feeling having so many shops. 1995 Walls, which was then launched by Brook Bond Lipton India Limited. Some of you are in marketing, you know that Brook Bond later on got merged with Hindustan Lever, which later on became Unilever. So Brook Bond, launched the Walls, which is still the Unilever brand, and that was launched from my shop. Okay, so I had a chain of shops from where it got launched. Then I had a tie-up with Pepsi. So all these things happening when I was in the mid-20s. Okay, so it was an exciting journey. And when you suddenly are out of your business, and there was a feeling of complete emptiness, I suddenly chanced upon an advertisement which was of Aligarh Muslim University, and that was a program which was they had launched with All India Management Association for a PhD program or a doctoral program. And that was a last hit. I just saw it. I don't know how and why, because I never thought of, but that was a last date. In those days, what I did was I created a what I call application, and there was to be something called fax. Okay, there's a fax machine. So I faxed it to the admission department and said that I am sending the draft and my full application form hard copy by courier, by the speed post. So I just, filled in application through fax. I've just, faxed it up, and then I backed it up with a speed post. Why I say this is because I didn't know what I'm getting into. Okay. It's a very interesting scenario because I didn't know that. You see, when I got into business also, I did not know what I'm getting into. I got in. Okay. When I got into the PhD, I just sent it. I didn't know what I'm getting into. So I think that was 2000 November, as I said. And, most of the Bengalis during, the winter vacation goes off to some what are called destination, and the nearest one was Puri from Calcutta. And I remember that I traveled all the way from one Rajdhani Express from Bhubaneswar to Delhi to appear for my PhD interviews. And they asked me some question. I said that, see, I just exited my business, and I think that I can do some work on entrepreneurship. And somebody here said that with industry background, he came to do his research, and how does he go about it? I had no clue. Let me tell you. So I said that I think that I've got some entrepreneurial experience, and that is what I want to write, and that is why I want to do PhD. Thankfully, they took me. So I did my coursework. I got into the, I was supposed to make a proposal presentation. Okay, so post coursework, I was supposed to make a proposal presentation at AMU. So I prepared my presentation. Of course, I was there as a faculty associate in ICFI. I prepared my presentation and I went there. I said that I will study how, how you can be successful as an entrepreneur, particularly as a small scale entrepreneur. So I was making this presentation. During the presentation, of course, there are a lot of professors, senior professors, who actually look at you when you make that presentation. I was very fortunate because the chair of the area, that is the chair and the dean of the Faculty of Management Studies at AMU, okay, he then refined my proposal. I think that is the first step that one needs to do as a researcher. As a researcher, you need to, you will have a lot of ideas, lot of experiences. You do a research because you have those experiences. Now I had those experiences. And the fact is this, that I want to share everything. Then I was being questioned, and I found that, and I through that questioning, I could found, the professors only found that my exposure of, doing that business were essentially in the area of, bakery, number one. Number two, I had ran, chain shops. Number three, I had run a small scale business, not a large business. So my PhD, what I call, topic got refined during the presentation, because once, in a university, when the PhD topic gets defined, post that one cannot change it. Okay. And it was a central university. So I didn't know again what I'm getting into, but then it happened that it was a PhD topic where I had to study small scale industries in the bakery, in the city of Kolkata, and particularly the chain operations. Why I say this is, one as a researcher needs to define the scope of the study. So see, my experience was to run a chain of bakery shops in Kolkata. So it was to the credit of my guide, who later on became my guide, Professor Kaleem Muhammad Khan, who is now retired. I've got immense respect for him. So, and of course, there was a panel. I think Professor Javed Akhtar, who later on became the registrar of the university, was the dean of course. So they refined my topic, saying that it is the study of, small scale bakeries, particularly the chains in the city of Kolkata. Now, so it is very defined, geographically defined, number one. Number two, sector defined bakery. Okay. Number three, the kind of industry that I'm going to study is defined, SSIs, and kind of what to call, organizations that I'm going to study, that also got defined, which is essentially the chain shops. Now that was the first thing that happened, which is the defending my proposal. And I think that is where the first step, which I would say, is to defining the scope of the study or the research. And that is very, very important, which I understood going forward. Okay. Now,